Sci-fi, something that has been applauded throughout the years, but not really focused on in the 21st century. Here, we will be unveiling some of the greats that have been released in this decade.
Yes, from subdued character pieces to big bombastic special effects heavy blockbuster specials. This has got something for everyone and some things you may not even think about when you think of sci-fi. All that and more right now on Movie Mount Rushmore.
Hey, screeners, how you doing? It's me, the one AJ, Anthony Jordan.
And me, Nico Luro, and we are here once again to give you our individual rundowns, our individual top 10 lists of some of the best movies out there for our category this week. AJ, should we talk some movies?
Yes, but before we do, would you like to tell everyone what the Movie Mount Rushmore is all about?
Yes, it's a weekly top 10 movie show between two lifelong best friends dating all the way back to our school days. And that all the way gets longer and longer every single week. Here is how the show works for those of you tuning in for the first time. We go our separate ways. We compile our lists individually. We come right back in. We deliver to you, the Silver Screen Dudes, our film family, our individual top 10s. This week, I will go first, delivering my bottom three. AJ will then deliver his bottom three. I will deliver my next two. AJ will deliver his next two. And then we will trade one apiece. If at any time while we are rounding off our individual top 10 lists, one person has a movie in a higher position, that person will say
punt.
And we will punt and talk about that movie when we get to the high position. And once we have both rounded off our individual top 10 lists, we will deliver in the voice of Chandler Bing the movie Mount Rushmore. These are the four quintessential diverse must-see movies of the genre. This week is
top 10 sci-fi movies of the 21st century.
Is
okay, but before we get into that, what happens once we, the Silver Screen Dudes, create the 4 must-see films of that specific category? It goes over to you, the screeners, who have to crown El Capitan, El Numero Uno, the best of the best of the best, with honors, sir. And in the words of Highlander, in the end, there can be only one. And how do you crown that one? Well, it's pretty easy. Yeah, jump onto X. Yeah, I still like to call it Twitter, but it's called X. And you have to head on over to @MovieMT_Rushmore, or more importantly, the person that retweets. So you can't vote twice. Retweet. We love movies, fronted by good old JT at Movie Polls for You. That's the page. That's the guy who puts out the tweet. Retweet him, you get one vote. And that's where you get to vote for the winner of the category. Last week, our category was
another top 10 movies set in London.
And our contenders were
Mary Poppins, Legend, Notting Hill, and Sherlock Holmes.
Legend, Notting Hill, and Sherlock Holmes.
Nice.
There we go. Right. Knowing the world the way the world is, I'm going to go with Sherlock Holmes at number 4.
No, sir.
Notting Hill.
No, sir.
Then it's Legend.
Yes. Legend got slapped. 8%.
Wow. Ooh. I really thought it was going to be third. I didn't think it was going to be. Okay.
I thought Tom Hardy would.
Yeah.
Seconds, to be honest.
Second's got to be Notting Hill. Sorry, third has got to be Notting Hill.
Yes. Third is Notting Hill. 21%.
Oh, this is a let them fight. But I'm going to go with Sherlock at number 2.
Sherlock at number 2 with 25%. Mary Poppins eviscerated people. 46% for one movie. Like,
that's
not quite Rear Window territory, but it's like, whoa.
Yeah, not to be mucked about with either. Cool. Nice. Congratulations, Mary Poppins. Let's see that poster one more time. There's your winner. That's the best of the best of the best. And quite frankly, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. There we are.
I love that film. But now, talking about more films I love. With our top 10 sci-fi movies of the 21st century, and my number 10, which is a very recent one, and I think it's superb. Dune.
That's a punt. That is a punt. That
Oh,
is a punt, bro.
yes,
That's a punt.
boy. My number 9, starring one of our favorite actors and a manic pixie dream girl played by Kate Winslet, Jim Carrey in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Do you know the funny
Another
thing?
one.
This film is on my rewatch list. I watched it, but I just the concept was amazing. I just
Mm.
couldn't get to grips with the story. That's
The
the
concept's amazing. The excuse me. The concept is amazing. The acting is superb. The story I was all on board for. Where it's aged a bit, it's a bit of a modern take that having, quote unquote, the manic pixie dream girl is a bit of a lazy writing trope. It is. And Kate Winslet definitely plays a manic pixie dream girl in this, so it's not a very well-rounded female character or depiction of a female character. That aside, this is a story which, if you translate it, if it was a book, would work perfectly because it's your mind's eye filling in the blanks and creating imagery for you. Someone goes to erase their mind in order to forget about, you know, a relationship and a loved one where things went wrong. Fine in a book. How in God's good earth do you get that? And I'm not even a Christian, for Christ's sake, but how in God's good earth do you translate the visualization of someone losing memory of something specific, not just by, excuse me, not just by showing, a character lying on some sort of freaky deaky operating bed and his face contorting as if he's forgetting. No, no, actually showing the visuals of what's happening in his mind, memories playing in reverse, specific moments in time that are being deleted without doing something naff like, oh, we're just going to play the tape backwards. As a piece of experimental cinema, it is such a resounding success that they managed to pull off this what they conceived here. It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
nice, nice. As I said, it is something I feel needs a rewatch on my end. It was just certain parts where it started to get a bit quirky, like that part of him in the kitchen, like reliving his childhood and stuff. I was like, the concept to me personally was better than going into this wild imagination because like reversing and forgetting. So the initial part of the story had me, and then it just started to get a bit too quirky. And I was like, I don't know if I appreciate it, but I do say I want to watch it again.
It's great. My number 8, one of Ridley Scott's standout modern films with Matt Damon. I'm going with The Martian.
It hurt me to have left this off. I swear
Oh
to you.
damn, you left it off. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, whoops, sorry, that shouldn't be
Oh,
a punt.
oh,
That should be an
that's good. I
overview.
didn't punt. I didn't punt.
Ignore that. Punting myself, so not a punt. Ignore that. The Martian. Look, we've discussed on our news show how it's quite unfair that Ridley Scott gets tarnished with this brush of, oh, he's fallen off the wagon. When actually, when you look at his 21st century filmography, minus a few obvious tarnishes, such as the that new Alien movie, which was not really good, and what was that? And House of Gucci. Scott's done a lot of great films in the 21st century. Your American Gangsters, Body of Lies. You've got The Martian, and there's a number of others that I'm forgetting. But go on IMDb and look at his filmography from 2000 onwards. It's impressive to say the least. And but for however fair or unfair the reasons are, this seems to be the movie that in people's minds is like, oh, Ridley's back on form. Um, and for good reason. Like, of all the very, very good movies that he's made, this is definitely one of his standouts. It's it's like I mean, they stole some ideas from Guardians of the Galaxy in this. Like the moment Matt Damon started listening to those various playlists of music, I'm like, we a fan of Peter Quill, are we? Fair
His
enough.
Star was called. Yeah.
Literally, Star Lord called and said, I want my mixtape back." But how they go about showing, I mean, I'm a big fan of movies that happen with one character in one location. I always think it's very impressive when you can keep an audience engaged with just a solo performance. Really cool. But this guy sciencing literally adulting
Survival. Yeah.
sciencing on a planet which has theoretically got no water. So cool. So cool.
Yeah, no, I had great fun watching this film. Bit of a caveat to mine. There are certain films that I've loved along the way. Most of these all caught along the way, and it was initial impression. And because it was so hard to even rank that 10, films that I thought of after, I was like, that has to be held for another option. Otherwise, I'd still be fighting with this list. I'm still not even sure my number one should be my number one. I just had to rank it on that. So I get what you're saying. Awesome movie. Awesome.
I'm similar. My number 1 and 2 keep on flip flopping back and forth, and then I remember that my number 1 is one of my favorite movies of all time, like top 10 on. Yeah,
Cool.
But yeah, that's my bottom 3. Your number 10, please.
So in at number 10 is a film that we done a profile episode on our previous channel with, and I came across it, and I know it's not for everyone, but I really, really enjoyed the concept behind it. It's a Jake Gyllenhaal movie, and but one of two. Jake appears in 2 films. This is Source Code. I know it's not for everyone.
You love this, don't you?
But there is something about this Groundhog Day-esque survival movie, essentially, which is taking place in a fake reality, because this is I don't want to spoil it, but a man who has to stop a bomb and it keeps continuously getting the message. And then we realize that, for better or worse terms, and this is a spoiler to a film that hasn't made it to my list, it's an avatar of him. It's his mind that's going in there, and he has to stop a situation that's happened. So it's somewhat a parallel universe, but based on a virtual reality universe, and how they can stop it. It's to intercept this terrorist from attacking again. And how it happens, it fascinated me in such a way that I was like, but what happens at the end? And it still played out. And I was like, this is it. There's something redeemable about this film for me that I've always loved. As I said, it's a Groundhog Day movie in order to catch a terrorist from striking again. That's the plain core of it. There is no other element.
It's not the only Groundhog Day-esque movie that's made it for you.
Sadly, it is. I know the other one's there. It was actually on my list. It was on my list, and I omitted it for some weird reason.
No, you picked the wrong Groundhog Day movie. I'll say that now.
But here's the thing. I'm aware that, there's 2 things. One, I'm very aware that it would have made your list. And 2, there is something about this film that's always stuck to me, and I know it would not have made your list. So I want to put it out there to give it the love that I have for it.
Movie, just to put that out there. I'm a big fan of Scott Derrickson, the director. Went on to do the first Doctor Strange movie. I really like this film. It's one of those pleasant. This movie has no right being as good as it is. Like, where did you come from to entertain?
That's kind of what it has to me.
But I wouldn't put it on my top 10. But it's very good.
I tell you, it has this redeeming factor. I don't know how or why, but it does. Right.
You shouldn't put on your list. You go with your list, AJ.
But in the funny world of Dragon Ball Fusion, here's my top 10 is a Groundhog Day. My number 9 features Tom Cruise. So if you match them, it's there. This probably would be higher if I don't keep getting it's been an age since I've watched it, and I keep saying I'm going to watch it.
Spielberg?
I haven't. Yes. Yeah. Minority Report. The love I have for Minority Report is something. Again, a different. You know when there people say that you don't have originality in movies? Now, I don't care if this came from a book or what have you. I'm not here to do the research. I'm here to sell the film. This was an original concept in cinema. You know, here's something fresh, and you've got Tom Cruise as he normally would play the cop who, straight no nonsense there, intercepting a villain. And where Source Code was about trying to find a villain, this one, the villain is exposed before they've committed the crime. Because in this world and in this universe, we have these entities known as precogs who can tell the future and see a crime before it happens. And then it's on people like Tom Cruise to then intercept them and stop them. What happens when that person in question is now the cop who always is intercepted? He is now about to be stopped. And he knows he wouldn't commit the crime that's there. So can the precog be wrong? No, that's impossible. Or is it? And that's it. He is now on the run and is now being chased by another precog cop, for instance, if for better or worse terms, I can't remember the correct term, but one of these cops about to intercept in the form of Colin Farrell. And while he's on the run, he's actually nicked the precog to go through this story. And I just thought it was an absolutely amazing movie. I loved it. Like when it first came out, I've watched it multiple times. Absolutely back to back watched it.
I've only ever seen Minority Report once. And I loved it.
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. There's one part that sticks out to me. You know, when you're watching a really good movie and there's that one part that drags and you're like, ugh, and then that seems to stick in your mind. That whole part where he goes to the greenhouse and he gets like stung and she has to help him breathe again. I was like, you could have cut this whole thing out the movie to speed it up.
Most likely, yeah.
Like that was so unnecessary. But I do have a feeling that if one was to watch Minority Report now, boy, it would be relevant. You know, rise of AI and all that. Boy, I'd like to see Minority Report through a 2023 lens.
That's not a bad shout, actually. That's not a bad shout. That is something I didn't think of. That is something I hadn't thought of. Yeah. Okay. In at number 8 is Jake Gyllenhaal for the second time. This is a film that, again, is really I loved it. I loved it. Post-apocalyptic is a global warming movie that I've just always loved. Day After Tomorrow. Now I know it's not for everyone, but there was something. You know what it is? This film for me made me stop and pay attention, and I think that's the message that it needed to do. So I respect it for the fact that it made me do that. You know, it's like this is what we're doing to our planet. Pay attention. Now maybe others are like, it just seems absolutely ridiculous, but it's literally the second coming of the Ice Age and how man is meant to adapt throughout. It's simple. It's cheesy. It may not work for everyone.
It's say no more.
But I really liked it. Have I watched it in the past 10, 15 years? Hell no. Maybe it wouldn't have made the list. But when I was like, it's one of those films again, when I get an opportunity to include it, it's going to get included. And yeah, that's where
the guy who went and made Independence Day 2. Let's not forget that.
I've still not watched that. Your hate for it has put me off actually going to watch it.
So bad. You cannot fathom how bad this film is.
Don't go into it yet. Check your DMs.
It's so bad. Wait. What's happening in? No, it's fine.
Okay. Right, fair enough.
I legitimately could. I'm not going to give it the oxygen.
Oh, right. Fair play.
You're
number 7.
8, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, my 7. I think I've put this too low. But yeah, it's sitting where it's sitting, but I do think it might be a bit low. Amazing cast, 3-way cast, Oscar Isaac, Donald Gleason, and my girl, Ava in Ex Machina, Alicia Vikander.
Yeah. Just accept the punt and leave it where it's at. We'll accept
the punt. AJ, you know how Black Lives Matter? Yeah. You know how some people say that like all lives matter, which is dumb. But Ape Lives Matter, Rise of the Planet.
Oh man, of course this is sci-fi.
I am shocked you forgot this.
Oh man,
I know you love this film.
Don't I, Josh?
Yeah, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. For me, the best Planet of the Apes movie that's ever been made. I don't just mean the trilogy, I mean ever. This made me believe and buy into the idea of the franchise of the Planet of the Apes. I adore this movie. James Franco, Andy Serkis, Freida Pinto, et al., John Lithgow are on such fine form. The emotional beats of the movie are so well conceived. Like when Baby Caesar turns the spoon around so John Lithgow can hold it properly. The moments of, foreshadowing intention, like when he growls back at the dog in the park. And the way the movie purposefully and tactically, masterfully, I'd add, takes its time. So often in movies where they decide to take their time, you kind of feel like, get to the point. But because you're so enthralled by seeing this little baby hyper intelligent ape come to adulthood, you're there for the ride. Like stuff doesn't kick off until literally the last 20-25 minutes of the film, and it's not a short film. It's a Weta production, so these movies have got length on them. But for the whole family dynamic of what happens between Caesar and his upbringing and his abandonment, but his retained love with the family who raised him, it is such a wonderful family dynamic, bookended with this rise of the Planet of the Apes and an incredible sequence at the end where the apes become biped hyper intelligent. Yeah, and obviously the motion capture that Serkis provides is just it's god level acting that he's doing here. He is belonging in the conversation of one of the greatest actors to have ever lived, Serkis. He really is. And this is one of his finest, maybe his finest performance. Maybe Caesar is better than Gollum. I don't know, but I would listen to an argument for that. This has to be on a list.
Yeah, I am truly gutted that I forgot this. I'm like very high levels of hurt. Like there are other films that I'm like, okay,
Yeah, source code could have come off
sometimes
this.
others that I forgot, but this one actually hurts me that I forgot it because it's all kinds of great. It is all kinds of great. I think you would have heard the word punt if I'd remembered it. It's that level of.
I thought
Like,
it
even
was
going
like
back to what you said,
funded.
in terms of what you said with even the best Planet of the Apes movie, I can only but co-sign it. What came after it was just couldn't match what
Dawn
it
was
was.
good. Dawn
It
is
was
really
good, but it couldn't match Rise. And what came before it, just we're not even talking Wahlberg. The interest is. I'm not gonna lie and say I've seen them all or what have you, but it just doesn't even hit the right beats like what this done. I get it; it's now established planet, whereas this shows you how it became that planet. But oh my god, what a good movie! What a good movie!
Yeah. If ever someone says
I can't
prequels
even.
aren't good, show them this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a
Literally,
fact.
show them this, and then be like, "Talk to me. What do you have to say now, huh? Look at the ape. Look at the ape saying, ah, I am home. Ah."
Preach. It's a goodie.
You're
It's a
7.
goodie. Right. In at number 7, we're going to go down the world of animation.
Oh,
Do you know? Come again?
there's a few that come
You
to
know? You
mind when
don't?
you say animation. There's a few that come to mind.
Pixar.
No, there's only one then.
Good old Wally.
Yeah, that's a good old punt.
Okay. Nice. Okay. In at number 6 was the punt from earlier, the initial punt. Dune.
Yeah, this is good.
This, now, as my story always goes, I was going for a quick movie and then dinner. That didn't happen because of the length of this film. Now, while this film has length, it has quality. There is just something about the film that just has me locked. It's got me locked. There's no other word for it but locked. I'm just there. It has my focus. I'm there. It's laser focus, and I'm like, this is good. And I remember thinking, oh, this is going on longer than I expected. And I wanted to check the runtime. And the good thing about that cinema is where it is, it blocked off signal. So you couldn't get signal to find out anything. You won't get any interruptions. It's locked off your signal. And I just had to accept the runtime of this film. And I was like, oh, sugar, I promised the missus a meal. It didn't happen. But my God, what a journey this film was. And I'm aware it's fantasy. So I don't want to get into the argument with people over stuff, sci-fi versus fantasy. But I
Okay.
watched this and I was
This
like,
this is sci-fi before it's fantasy.
yeah, no. What I'm about to say is the argument is this film to me is what I expected. Remember, I was late to the party, so please, people, don't get offended and go into blasting comments. This is what I expected the quality of Star Wars to be when I heard it. Like the tropes and arguments are very similar in terms of the the rebel force, the empire who set these
100%.
laws and X, Y, Z. Come again?
100%. Completely
And
agree.
when what I saw here, I was like, this is the takeaway. This is the takeaway I wanted. This is the hype I wanted in there. And the best part about this film is while I was getting so deep, it stopped. You stopped that film at a point and said, I can't wait for part 2. Well done. That is the master. And I've never seen the original Dune and I've not read the book, so I'm completely oblivious to what comes next.
Oh, you've
But
not
I
read the
love it.
books, have you?
Not
Okay.
read the book, not seen the original movie. And that's what shocked me even more because I knew the original movie was a One Piece movie. I was so shocked when it ended. I was like, you what? No, 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 no. The adventure's about to begin. What do you mean? Loved it. That is a spoiler for anyone who's not seen the end, but that's how good it is. I'm willing to spoil it because you will have the same emotion I did. You're like, no, not here. Not here.
I, I need to tread lightly because I'm in the doghouse with Den the Tech for speaking in terms when he's not able to defend himself. But our buddy Den does not. Well, that may have changed. I think he's the
I
first.
think it changed. I am very sure it
He
changed.
was the first to say he wasn't, in a particularly receptive to a slow movie mood when he first saw this. But his first impression was that it was boring. Where my first one was, yeah, that's movie of the year right there, and it was my movie of the year. It is like if you're Denis Villeneuve and his eye for visuals, man. Aside from the fact that he brought the characters from page to screen so effortlessly, despite the casting choices were great. Timothy Chalamet was so good in this. Jason Momoa made me believe he could act. Like, and I love Jason. I'm not even throwing shade. Jason's one of the coolest men in the world. But I think by his own admission, he's not the world's greatest actor. He's
I
pretty
mean,
freaking good in
if
this,
you
wasn't
want
he?
to know how good an actor he is, just read his script from Game of Thrones.
Right. And he was awesome in that. Just do the chesting.
Yeah, exactly. Shh, 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 just move. Just move.
Just move and look scary. Just move and look scary. But Villeneuve got a great performance out of Jason Momoa, the same way James Gunn got a great performance out of Dave Bautista, who's also in this. But the same way that James Gunn got a great performance out of Dave Bautista in Guardians of the Galaxy, know how to use your actors and in what capacity to use them. Sign of a superb director. Um, yeah, Villeneuve is something special, and you could literally pause every single frame of this movie and it's like a work of art. I have never seen a movie where well, maybe The Revenant or like Blade Runner 2049, another Villeneuve movie, but every single shot in this movie was just like, huh? This is so pretty. What the hell am I watching? And I love the story, man. I love this big non-Star Wars IP space opera with all these different warring clans and factions. It's so good. And part
Yeah,
2 is out in a few months.
all kinds of awesome. All kinds of awesome. That I'm looking forward to.
That was
That
your
I am
6,
looking.
yeah?
Indeed, it was. Yeah. What a piece.
I've noticed you also haven't put your number 5 up,
I've
AJ.
just uploaded it because I was like, shit. I was just
Oh,
looking. I was like, 6'4"? What do you mean 6'4"? What the hell?
all right, cool. So my number 5, yeah?
Yep.
Well, I mentioned this during the news show. Who are my two or three favorite working actors today?
We have Sam Rockwell and Barry Keoghan.
Yeah, and throw Chalamet in there as well, obviously.
Yes,
But
yes, yes.
yeah, so let's go with the first one. Sam Rockwell, and only Sam Rockwell.
Oh, I keep remembering this film, but I haven't seen it yet. I've got to be honest.
Moon, dude, Moon. Now this
Yeah,
is a movie. Oh,
yeah.
this
No,
is
I remember the love that came up for it when we talked about movies from the moon, about the moon. Yeah.
oh my god. So it's such an exercise in isolation, this film. This solo space station operator who's been up in space and who's getting ready to come back home, who's only got one of the one of the AI robots voiced by Kevin Spacey. We can now say his name again. Voiced by Kevin Spacey to keep him company. He discovers this unspoken truth about what his purpose for being there is. and that he may not be alone. He may not be, I'm being very careful with the way I phrase this, he may not be the only one up there. And if you've seen Moon, you know what I've just said is really smart. And if you haven't seen Moon, watch it because, oh, Jesus. The performance for Sam Rockwell alone is worth showing up for this movie, like any Sam Rockwell movie is, because he is that damn good. But this is must watch stuff. Moon is incredible. You're number five.
Right. We talked about one of your favorite actors of all time. Who did we do? This is quite fitting for sci-fi movies of the 21st century. Who did we deem the best director of the 21st century?
Best director of
21st century.
Nolan.
So then it's only fair to bring him in, right? And let's use the concept of sleep because Inception is my number 5.
Oh, that poster has not aged well.
Oh, do you know what? I didn't even look. I just saw the poster.
Oh, look who's to the right of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's how they were at the time. So we will just acknowledge it for what it is. Sue me. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Photoshop.
Exactly. Sorry. Like, that's how the individual looked when the film was released.
Sorry,
Hence the poster. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Oh God, now you got me in about. Yeah. Anyway.
I saw that. I was like,
the concept of
AJ.
how do you find out information from someone when they are good at keeping secrets? That's they will withhold this with their very life, their very being. It's easy. You tap into their subconscious. And what's the best way to tap into someone's subconscious? While they're asleep. Let their thoughts reveal information while they're sleeping because they don't control it. We can't control our dreams. And whatever comes out and is influence for it to come out and it leads to, it's there. And that's what this film is about. It's literally invading someone's, it's a heist movie where you're robbing information from someone while they sleep. It's absolutely insane. And the people committing the heist also asleep. And it goes it's when it goes into levels of dreaming. And you're like, what is going on? And the way the world gets disrupted is one of the most awesome things. Like, if you've seen Doctor Strange, Inception says you're welcome. Yeah, that's simple as it comes. Because the way the world spins and is created, I was just fascinated. I remember my brother and a friend talking about this film once, and I had no idea what Inception was at the time. I was like, "You what?" And they're like, "Yeah, within a dream and what have you." By the time I sat back, I was like, "Oh, now I get what I was talking about." Now I can't remember what that conversation was about, but it was mind blowing.
Within a dream thing.
Yeah, it was that. It was the way the world, the walls and the streets just spin upside down, and you're like, "What is going on?" Like, I've never been so invested in the film to be like, "What?" And then it's escaping. I don't want to get to spoiler territory, but if you're that deep in, it takes a while to get back into the world. And you're watching this and that. And then the elements of knowing if you're in the dream world or if you're back in reality, because it feels so real, as dreams do. But now if you're immersed in it, how do you know you've come back out? You have a one thing that will never let you down. Oh, what a film. What a film.
I love it. Nothing to add. You've done it great justice there. My number 4. When we first decided to do this list, I was like, oh, this is number 1. Obviously, it hasn't ended that way. But one that I've, maybe based on my list now, incorrectly said that this is the greatest sci-fi movie of the 21st century. So good. The correct Groundhog's Day movie with Tom Cruise. Edge of Tomorrow, or Live, Die, Repeat, or All You Need Is Kill, depending on what part of the world you're in. Absolutely incredible. An alien force called the Mimics has invaded Earth. Yes, we have aliens and big marines with big guns and running around in mechs. Tell me that's not the most sci-fi thing you've ever heard. It's like
Indeed, it is.
that's the most sci-fi thing since James Cameron's Aliens and Space Marines shooting aliens. Oh, we're not gonna go to space. Let's bring the battle to Earth. Put the Marines in mechs. Add some Groundhog's Day in there. Kill the aliens. Yes, please.
Over and over again.
Are you kidding me? Tom Cruise is going to play a reluctant hero where he's going to die repeatedly until he figures out the aliens' pattern to kill the aliens, and he's going to be in a giant mech, and Emily Blunt's going to be playing a bat. Are you kidding me? Are you
Emily
freaking
Blunt was
kidding me?
surprising in this, man. She brings the rain.
They both do. They're so
Listen,
good.
no. But again, this is the kind of film that you expect Tom in. You don't expect Emily Blunt in this, and you're like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
That's why I say she brings it. That's why I say she brings it more than
That's
Tom.
fair.
It's like, yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's just like it's
Nah.
the most bombastic, brilliant 21st century slice of like poppy, over the top sci-fi-ness. Oh, it's good. Jeez, it's good.
Nice. That was your number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In at number 4 for me, and I hate this because it could have been on an upcoming list for the future because it was previously 100%. Currently sitting at, I believe, 99% from Japan. This was recommended to us by our platinum episode man himself, Gavin man. Big up, Gavin. Been a while since I've shouted you out, bro. This is a definite hashtag I'm with Gavin on this one because he promoted it to us and it was on Channel 4. Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes. Now, this is a one-shot movie shot in Japan, and I can't recommend it enough again for you to watch this, bro. A man owns a cafe. He lives in the apartment just above. So you follow him going up the stairs into his apartment from his cafe, and he looks at the screen, and he has a message from himself 2 minutes into the future. And it tells him to do something to then go back into the cafe. Now, you literally see him go down to the cafe, do what's been said, but now he's in the position of his future self. So you're now bouncing from seeing a present version of someone, but because you're following them in this sequence, he's now doing what the future self had just told him to do because of that 2-minute gap. Do you get what I'm saying? Have I confused you or are you on point?
I'm completely on point, but as a result of being on point, I'm confused as all hell by the concept of this movie. This just
basically it's a time travel. It's a time warp movie because it's time travel. Because through these screens, you see what happens 2 minutes ahead, but then you follow because you see what happens 2 minutes ahead.
No. I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm just explaining it again for everyone, and that's the entire concept of the film. But with that, other people get added in. There are villains who somehow get involved in it. It gets to a point where it goes a bit weird and like, but what you start to do is by putting
it's weird
because you start they then find a way to expand the time by bringing the screens closer together so you can see a bit further into the future. It's absolutely mad, but it's absolutely must see. I swear to God. And there's at one point, and it's not a spoiler, you think something happens and you're like, and then you see what honestly, just watch it. The concept is the concept. What happens in between it? You think, how have you created this? And again, all in one shot. It just keeps going from room to cafe, and maybe an extra apartment, then back down into the cafe. And it just follows the journey like
My
that.
brain is actually hurting at the sound of this, and which means I want to see it.
You need to see it. It's not even a want to, it's a need to see it.
All right. I will check it out. Is it an AJ Vision or not?
It was on Channel 4. I watched it on Channel 4. I don't know if it's still available on 4 Plus.
Oh, excuse me, guys. Past midnight here. My number 3, punt from earlier. Wow.
What a movie.
Look
If
at this.
if it wasn't for the love I have for these top 5 movies, yeah, it would have been higher. Like, it was a very emotional list for me this week.
Ask me on any given day what my favorite Pixar movie is, and it will rotate between 3. It will rotate between Wall-E, Toy Story 3, and Inside Out. Up's getting in there, but I think I'm still in the adrenaline prison with Up because it's a recent watch. But those three on any given day are just like, wow, just wow. And for Wally to have the audacity to make a 25-minute long intro shot as a silent movie and then introduce a secondary character, Evil, who basically also doesn't speak much. And you're going to base the whole movie off of these two unlikely people finding, or robots in this case, finding each other, and like Wally wanting friendship and Evie not realizing that she needs a friend. Like, they don't talk. Like, the 25 first minutes is silent, and then they continue to kind of like not talk, but they do interact. So I guess stops being such a silent premise. And you only get kind of dialogue in the last half hour of the movie. And yet somehow it is a resounding success on being a meditation on where the future, or in some cases the present, of humanity is going. It's like, how have you done this, Pixar? How have you made a movie this good?
I'll be honest, and I will say it time and time again. The poster didn't interest me. You told me about it, and I was like, I'll give it a watch. When I get to it, I'll get to it. I watched it, and I was like, oh God, not only does this robot's alone. It's a silent. What the hell? Like, when's the talking? When's the action? When's the excitement on this film? I shut my freaking mouth and I kept watching. What comes next is the big, as you said, a contrast of the present. Nothing has scared me more about society's future. Like, I talk about the day after tomorrow giving me a wake-up call about global warming. Nothing has scared me more. And this is including Terminator and all the Matrix and all the other stuff I said is the way of the future. It starts with iRobot. It goes into the... Nothing has scared me more than Wall-E, because it has never been so true to life in the way that people have become dependent on technology that they don't realize that they are becoming slaves to technology. And Wall-E shows it to you in such a way that you're like, oh, I swear to you, there was a point, and I joke not with this, is the love I have for these other films is what stops it. I hesitated making it number one.
Sure.
That's how reflective that film is. I was like, this film is awesome. From someone who thought I would not enjoy this film, to the love I have for it is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Amazing.
It's an incredible achievement. What they
Nothing has given us a reflection on society more than Wall-E, to me personally. Nothing.
I agree. And that's why it's my number three. Your number three, please.
Right. My number three is someone who I brought up just a couple of weeks ago. It's that crazy doll, Megan. Like,
really?
Bro, watch it and understand it. Like, it reflects a punt, and I gave the punt its respect. But the way, as I said before, it's the punt and Ultron's baby child, because it's just a toy who taps into the psyche. Again, you talk about like how AI is involved. This is the most adaptive toy you would ever get. And the problem is that you would see the concept of Megan and be like, I want to get my kid a Megan, because it becomes a support unit to your child. You know, it adapts based on your child's interaction with it. It becomes like a life. It becomes a friend. Come again?
Not freaky at all.
That's the thing. And it's weird. But it's when that toy becomes too protective and it goes on her own mission, I was like, whoa. And credit to the actress who plays the doll, you know, who plays Megan. I again, that's all it is. It's we've got your Toy Stories and movies about toys. This one, there's no hidden agenda. We know the toy is alive. How alive the toy is, how much AI is there. It is the freaky part, and you're like, whoa. And it's how she taps into certain bits and overrides them. I was like, whoa. This is power. This is power. Must see movie.
It is a Blumhouse film, which makes me want to watch it.
You won't be disappointed.
And it's a horror. Look at you putting a horror at your number three. I don't
Oh,
like
you're gonna laugh. You will laugh.
I
I
don't
promise
like
you, you'll laugh.
lies, mate.
You're
Uh,
number two.
my number two, yeah. Oh, this was my number one until a very, very, very last minute. Wait, what year did that movie come out? And then when I checked what my number one was and the year it came out, I was like, oh well, well, game over. Um, but my number two again from Denis Villeneuve. I think, I think this is his crowning achievement. Arrival. This
I
film
have
is
heard about it, film. I've not seen it.
oh Jesus Christ, it's good. This is not. There's no polite way of saying this. This is not a sci-fi movie for dummies. It is just not. If you do not have a basic understanding of space curvature, the Einstein-Rosen bridge, and how language affects our immediate reality and an ability to view that as an abstract concept, boy, are you going to struggle with this movie.
Probably why I've not seen it yet.
It's
I don't call myself an idiot, but there's certain bits in that you've mentioned I'm not familiar with.
so the first 3/4 of this movie, very easily digestible, super easily digestible. Aliens, yeah, it's basically a nice version of Independence Day. Aliens start arriving and positioning themselves strategically at various points around the earth, right? Now, we've all seen Independence Day. We know what happens next. Not in
Yeah.
this film. Not in this film. The aliens, refreshingly, are genuinely there to communicate and learn, but they're behaving and communicating, obviously, in a language and manner which no one's familiar with. So they bring Amy Adams, who knows pretty much the history and the meaning and the construction of every single ancient and dead language under the sun. That's like her shtick, right? Professor of dead languages, so to speak. Yeah, this is a woman who can speak Sanskrit. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And you know, there's a key example of this. There's a point where they've started to decipher the alien language, and the alien says, "Offer weapon." Now, in a Hollywood mindset, in a military mindset, offer weapon means like, oh, they want our
Yeah.
nukes, right? What she steps in and said is, well, actually, did you know that the way they're communicating is actually very similar to what X race was doing? And in that language, offer weapon meant offer tool, which was an implication that we should work together for a greater good. So it goes into these levels of breakdown, which are just very intelligent. And then in the last quarter of the movie, it gets a bit cray cray on the intelligence level. Like there was some stuff where I was like, I know this. This stuff in physics has always fascinated me. I need to go and read how the physics wraps up the narrative because I know that they're both here, but I don't fully understand them, how they're interwoven together. Then I went and read some essays on it. I was like, oh, that's clever as all hell. Like, this is not a sci-fi movie for dum-dums. There's no pew-pew in this movie. Not a thing.
That doesn't need to. It doesn't need to.
But it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. The acting is great. The visuals on it. Like, this is what I'm saying. Denis Villeneuve, put him in the same bracket as a Zack Schneider and as a Tony Scott when it's like what you know when you're watching a Snyder movie or a Tony Scott movie. You also know for God-given sure when you're watching a Denis Villeneuve movie. He has a certain aesthetic approach to filmmaking, which is so beautiful, minimalist, and unique. It's great. You're number two.
So it was the punt from earlier. Now, in order to promote Megan, you have to acknowledge Ava. Now, Ex Machina is number two because of that. Do I prefer Megan? Probably, but
Really?
Megan doesn't exist without Ex Machina.
Just
Like the
rewind on
beats
that.
are
You
there.
genuinely think you prefer Megan to Ex Machina? You're not in an
I have
adrenaline
to
system
stop.
here.
I have to stop because of the hype. Now the problem is it's the pacing behind it. There are parts of Megan where it it's a horror, so obviously it's going to take a different turn. Whereas I see Ex Machina as a character piece. It's a drama, for better or worse. It's the development of AI and what have you. So for that, you get into it, and obviously Megan goes on her little spree. That's not a spoiler. It's a killer doll. Like it's not Chucky. It's elevated from that.
Horror
You know what I
movie.
mean?
Like, what are you thinking?
Exactly. So with that, it's just an extra beat of what comes next. Whereas, but it doesn't exist without Ex Machina, and that's the only reason I put it above. It's AI taking over. It's that communication, that bond between man and machine that has you going, huh? You what? That computer's over again. I joked about the evolution of stuff. It starts as iRobot, it evolves into Ava, it goes into Terminator. Boom, you got the Matrix. Like that's something I've warned people. Call me a weirdo if you want. It's not impossible. The blueprint's there. But this film, when I first saw it, I was like, wow. And again, Alicia Vikander, just like the young lady whose name I can't remember right now, the way they own the fine line between being machinery, android, and having human emotion and owning it is amazing. And this is why she will forever get my respect. And it's that question of the biggest question about Ex Machina is trust. It's who do you trust? And the film has you questioning it the whole way. And it has this tension throughout the whole way because it's the trust bounces between two people because you're always questioning, but obviously I have to trust man. Man made this machine, but what if the machine means what it says? But is the machine toying me because the man is toying me? Like the amount of questions that you can't help but ask in that sense, Ex Machina kicks Megan's ass because you know what Megan's about in that sense. Like you see behind the curtain when it comes to Megan. So there are elements of Ex Machina. The more I think about Ex Machina, the more I see the divide between the two. But if you appreciate Ex Machina, you will see Megan as a ripoff. I can't help but talk about the two. But it's grounded in this. This is the film that says to you, this is AI. This is life form in Android.
What I love also is that, without ruining the ending, is the fact that ultimately we get to a place where, where the whole movie, like with all these AI movies, question what is it that makes us human? Is it our soul? Is it the choices? Is it how we interact with the humans around us? Like what makes someone human, right? And the movie decides that what makes someone human is choice, is our ability of free choice. It's not having a soul. It goes down a different route. It's your ability to choose without boundaries, but knowing what the consequences are. Because, she gonna run out of battery when
Yeah,
she decides.
yeah.
But choice with consequence.
That's not a prediction. It's a spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's worth more to her than her existing status quo.
Mm-hmm. No, I give you that.
That's what being human is. So in the
Yeah.
end, it got a nice little bow on it.
Nice. I agree. Awesome
So
movie as
I
well.
don't have a worst, but I believe you do. So carry on.
I mean, it's an easy go-to. Now, it kind of touches like when it comes to your thing of when you see the years and what qualifies, what doesn't. One of the first things that came into my head was The Matrix. I was like, hey, then I realized it was 1999. And that obviously kind of screwed it. Now, most would believe I would go down my route of multiple Smiths, which is something I absolutely cannot stand.
Not the worst of the Matrix reboot.
It's really not. It's not. The third one, because I was still in Matrix hype, had me going, yeah. And then you're trying to sell me the story that Neo is the son. And I was like, what a disappointing cinema experience that was. But that did not make worse because not so long ago,
I thought you were going to go.
we released The Matrix Resurrection. This was meant to be The Matrix Resurrection versus John Wick 4. Oh, Keanu would have won in one day and lost in the other on that day because trust me, what a heap of crap. Now, I really liked the beginning to this film where they started to talk about what the Matrix was and how hype it was. It became kind of meta into what it was.
Yes.
Then it got me confused
and
bored.
Stupid.
Yeah. And you told me that Morpheus is dead and Morpheus is gone. Then you bring in Crap Candyman. I used to call him something else, but I'm not allowed to swear on this channel. Yeah. and he's somehow meant to be the amalgamation of Smith and Morpheus. And I said it before, and I won't take it back until he produces a decent film. I saw him in Candyman, and I was disappointed. And I'm not here to be disrespectful. He then played a crap Morpheus / Smith, who I'm meant to believe is helping and is just bouncing in and out. So until he produces a film, I'm not taking the time to learn his name. He's crap
Oh,
Candyman.
damn.
Right?
AJ does not like Yahya Abdul Mateen the second. AJ wants
You,
Yahya Abdul Mateen the first.
bro, bring it
I have
because
to say, one must be a proper bellend to put the second as part of their name.
but do you though? I mean, you could be Junior.
No.
Think of it. Here's the thing: if his child,
I'm going to fire shots at so many people in one go here. You're the same type of bellend who gives your dog a human name.
here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah,
I don't.
Japanese Chicharo dogs, and instead of calling them something cool like Tonfa or Shinobi or Shuriken, you say Duncan. You're a knob.
It's when you give him a
You
surname.
imported a dog from Japan, and you're going to call it Duncan. It's like, oh, because it's ironic. Shut up. You're a knob.
My thing is, I don't know if he has intentions of having a son. He may have a son, and in that case, he is the second because he can't be Junior. Do you get what I'm saying?
Junior is better than the second.
Yes, but
You
he's
are
not
the
Junior.
lineage of royalty. Like,
But
what are we
he is
doing?
not. From the point that a third person has that name, you are no longer Junior. You become the second. It's fact. It's not. I'm aware of royal lineage.
Are you aware of a Yahya Abdul Mateen the first, the actor? Because I'm not. Therefore,
I
as
am not.
acting name, you do not need to put the second.
Yeah, but there's no shame in honoring your family while you've made it.
I love where your mind's at. You're a very lovely person. I still think it's bell-ended.
I'm going to ask a very stupid question. Robert Downey's an actor, then?
Probably not.
So then why does he have Junior?
Junior doesn't sting me as much as the second.
I get it, but until Robert Downey Jr. has Robert Downey the third, he will remain Junior. I get it. It sounds pompous. It sounds pompous. I'm with you.
The 16th or another Louis or another royal something. You shouldn't be called the followed by number. Like, I'm sorry, just no.
Well, then join me on my train. He's crap Candyman.
Crap Candyman. He's crap Candyman the second.
Yeah, so as I bringing it back before we overextend on time and deciphering a name, defending it and attacking it at the same time. The film went from cool meta to ridiculously crap. And that's why I lost interest in trying to even learn the guy's name. The second, the first, or the third. I don't care because your performances was the third. So, like, honestly, I couldn't get into the film. I was like, this is, and again, we quoted him before and I'll quote him again. I was like, I don't know what Den's hating on. This is kind of cool. I like the way that it's Neil Patrick Harris, isn't it? He's the one like selling it. We got to bring back the Matrix. Then it starts to go into this territory, and it has little tropes of the past. It keeps nodding to the past, which is cool, but it also gets very irritating. You know, the French actor is coming back, and he's still trying to be as eccentric, but he's lost all his riches and all of that. And you're like, okay, that's cool. So they still exist, but it just gets from bad to worse. And it, you know, this is the thing. It's when you you had something good, but you tried to make a cash cow and you killed something good. And I believe that's why the Matrix isn't in the conversation. The follow-ups to the Matrix killed the Matrix.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
The Matrix should just be a standalone movie.
Yeah. Cool.
Just
You're
like
number one.
Just like Jaws, there are 4 of those. Only one should be a thing.
There we are.
Right, my number 1. You said you only had 2 Gyllenhaals, right? Damn.
Yeah. Oh no.
Donnie Darko is my number 1, and it's 21st century. Now you try and tell me that
I could have sworn it was 20th. I could have sworn it was 20th.
It's 21st. I doubted. I thought exactly the same thing, and I doubted myself. But as per IMDb, let's just get this on the record right now. As per IMDb, Donnie Darko is a 2001 release.
No.
Yep.
One of the most eerie and awesome films I've ever seen.
So when you told me at the top of the show, Jake Gyllenhaal was on there twice, I was like, oh, good, he's remembered. And then I was like, wait, there's that other tremendous pile of doo-doo he likes, that Roland Emmerich thing. And he put that in over this. I was like, damn.
Do you
The
know?
moment it came up, I was like, he's forgotten Donnie.
Oh no.
Donnie.
Oh, good, no.
Now, what's so
This
cool
is
about
a movie.
Donnie-
This is a film.
This is
This is a film. It's not often you'll hear me throw this out. This film is in GOAT territory. Like,
Yep.
honestly.
Yep.
This is a film. The questioning that Donnie Darko does to you. Ooh. I'll let you run.
What I love is when a movie takes something that you know that's been done a million times, repackages it in the form of something which at face value doesn't seem like a genre where this subject matter would fit, but then just breathes such fresh air into it. Case in point, this is a time travel movie.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's a time travel movie masquerading as a coming of age kind of Blue Velvet-esque small white picket fence Americana suburban town about teen angst. And I'm like, so where's the time travel? Oh,
It has time travel. It has mental health. Dare I say it has a bit of horror. Like,
100%.
it's such a
Has some
mix.
comedy. It's like, Donnie Darko, I've said this before, is everything.
I still maintain that Pulp Fiction is the ultimate everything movie.
No side.
But yeah, Donnie Darko's not far behind it. Yeah.
Donnie Darko is every genre of cinema in one genre, and yet it works.
Yeah. Well played. I actually wish I went first because my number one's fun, but it's not Donnie Darko. I'm here to own it. I'm here to own it. Oh, that hurt me. When you said there's two, the minute you said it, because I was like, Gyllenhaal, I was like, oh no. Like it hurt the core. It hurt the core, and I realized I was wrong on that. Oh man. Oh yeah. No. Oh god, no.
And one of the best depictions of time travel you can get. Like the wormholes coming out, and then that in itself raises a choice of, so is that physics telling us and becoming theological, and our destinies are essentially laid out before us, which is why he's going to follow it? Or is he making a physical choice to follow it, which he wouldn't have done had that not existed? And is this therefore a gateway into his future? Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. It's like,
But this is the thing, it's through this whole time travel, you then go, was this a dream? And that's the best part. You're like, huh? I've said it before and I say it again, and I'm not going to lie, due to AJ Vision, it's available for me. There is a sequel called S. Darko. I still don't have the guts to watch it because I'm like, don't tamper with Donnie. Donnie is such a film. Such a film. I know what, I don't know. I'm not ready for S. Darko because Donnie was such a film. Ooh, oh man, the shivers and the disappointment. So my number one, God, I don't even have the excitement to say it anymore. It's a horror again. It is a horror again. It's from Blumhouse again. It's the film that stuck with me because it took a film that a character that I wasn't sure how you're going to do it in this era, and you made it possible. The same way, if you guys watched last week's news, we were talking about how to make a Mr. Freeze in the Batman world. How do you bring the Invisible Man into the 21st century? This film does it. It's not some freak experiment and now he's invisible or what have you. You brought technology into it, the refraction of light. And I remember watching this expecting one thing, and when I found out how they done it, I was like, this is all kinds of smart. And let's be under no illusion, the Invisible Man is the villain in this film. A man who fakes his own death and now haunts his partner who chose to leave him.
Yeah, if you're a woman living alone at home, do not watch this movie unless you've got someone with you. Stay.
I was blown. Now, I think that was my film of the year back in 2020,
It was.
and in that lockdown. And for all of it being caught in the hype, the more I looked at this list, and yes, obviously I forgot Donnie Darko and a few others, Planet of the Apes and what have you, I really sat back and I was like, this film got me. This film got me when it was released, and it still has me to that degree that I was like, I like what you've done here. I like that you've taken something classic, rebranded it, and made it your own. And it's not often people can do that. Some franchises can't even recreate it. Looking, case in point, the Matrix and Apes series couldn't recreate what they had. To take a beloved character like that, and look, just a couple of weeks ago, London, just last week, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the Invisible Man's available there. Very different to the Invisible Man here. Just saying. Like, it's good ownership of a character and being like, yeah, give me the IP, I'll flip it. Loved it.
So I think what we've established since the declaration a few years ago, I don't mess with horror. Yes, we do. AJ messes with James Wan and AJ messes with Blumhouse. If one of these two criteria are met, AJ messes with horror.
We can work with that.
You're just like me. You have specific horror that you like, which is wonderful. I'm so glad we've got to a point where we know you're not only a cinephile, but you appreciate good horror.
A horror appreciated cinephile, right? Yeah. For the benefit of the fact that we're not allowed to swear, there is a finger that I'm pointing at you right now. Feel free to swivel on it, yeah?
Sit and spin on all five.
You can see it. Yeah.
Oh, very good. Well, we've had 3 punts, so they all obviously make the list automatically. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we have had Wally, June, and Ex Machina were all punted.
Do you know what? Screw it. It's not often I will go for it straight away, but through pure. I mean, if it doesn't do it now, all I'm going to do is fight for it when we do another. Donnie Darko's in. I legit don't care. Legit do not care. Yeah, like it. No, it has to. Again, one of the greatest movies I've come across, and that says a lot.
To see how Twitter reacts to this.
That hurts a lot because again, Planet of the Apes is another one that would have been very high for me. But Donnie, Donnie,
Donnie's so good. And
Yeah.
you know what was fascinating? I put the question out on Twitter or X, saying that what's the best horror movie of it? No, you've got me thinking. What's the best sci-fi movie of the 21st century? No one thought of Donnie. No one.
It's weird. Okay. Again, just while we go into that topic, what the hell made Musk change it to X? One of the most stupid things I've ever heard. Anyway. Oh, X me, bro. Like, tweet me. And the thing is, you're still calling it X, or your logo's X. I don't even know if it's called X or Twitter anymore. But you still want to say, I posted a tweet. Why would I tweet on X?
I can't possibly tell you the reasons of why an autistic person makes the choices they make. That's what they have therapists for.
Listen, just stick to making
shade. He's legitimately autistic, so he makes decisions based on things that I don't understand. So
just stick to making cars, bro. Honestly,
makes good cars.
Awesome cars. Like, highest respect to the guy.
Special interest.
Yeah. There we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official movie Mount Rushmore of sci-fi movies of the 21st century, in no particular order, is
Wally.
Our second entry is
June.
Our third entry is
Ex Machina.
Our final entry into the Movie Mount Rushmore of movies of the 21st century Why do you wear that stupid human suit? Is
Donnie Darko. Celador. Celador. That's the part I always remember. That was six to me.
right.
Oh, what a film. What a film. Okay, guys, look, let's wrap it up. We're just a tad over, so I'm not going to waste any time. Hit the subscribe button if it's your first time watching. Tell your friends to tell your friends. That's what it's all about. And guess what? We're also available in audio form. Check the link above. We're on Spotify and all your major platforms. So spread the word, please. The Silver Screen Dudes appreciate you and thank you in advance.
And do be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Tune back here every single Tuesday for another new top 10 show. There should be a link to one other episode right there, or you can get the full playlist down in the description below. But until then, I'm Nico Lero. He's the one AJ, and we will see you on the next top 10. Bye, guys.
See ya.